nonprofit services at the Community Foundation. And I'm so excited to welcome you all to our third webinar. So it looks like some of you have been attending our 101 and 201 series, watching them in the recorded session. So thank you so much. Be sure to check those out on our website. And while I wish we were able to meet at the Community Foundation, this is so great that we can record these presentations. And we'll be sure to send out the link of this recording as well and add it to our website. So before we get started, I would love to tell you about our subject matter expert, Dana Snyder, and our Hunter Carpenter, our very own Hunter Carpenter, a manager of communications and marketing. He's on here as well. Dana is an entrepreneur, digital strategist, and passionate conscious consumer. She's the founder and CEO of Positive Equation and HerDesk. She founded her first business, Positive Equation, in 2017, with a focus on helping nonprofit marketers cultivate passionate online audiences of donors, partners, and advocates through social media. Dana's second business, HerDesk, is a responsibly made desk designed by and for women. Her desire is to provide women with a functional and beautiful space to work from home, so check out her website. She's currently based in Atlanta, and Dana has worked with Dress for Success, USTA, American Idol, the Global Food Banking Network, the Gary Sinise Foundation, #LunchBag, LA84 Foundation, and many, many more. Dana is a member of the Purpose Collaborative, an invitation-only global group of 40-plus boutique firms, consultancies, and subject matter experts, all passionate about social purpose. Dana graduated with a bachelor's degree in advertising and public relations from the University of Central Florida, and she is going to do an excellent job today. So I'm going to toss it back to her.
Perfect. Thank you so much again for that kind introduction. For those of you who have heard that now 3 times in a row, I apologize, but you know me really well. Okay, today is going to be jam-packed, and oftentimes whenever I'm talking about advertising, I run out of time. Because I want it to be as interactive as possible and answer questions along the way. So please feel free to utilize the group chat as much as possible at any point if you do have questions. Again, this session is for you. And you know how I always start, if you were here in 101 or 201, clear your space. Delete any other browsers, because I'm going to ask you to open some browsers during this presentation. So if you can, clear out of your tabs. Minimize your email inbox. That's something that always distracts me. Turn that phone upside down. Again, clear your space. This will be recorded. But if you want to, grab a pen, piece of paper to take some notes. And mindset is really important for this session. A lot of times, Facebook and Instagram advertising, what we're going to go over today, can be very daunting and intimidating, but it's not. It's one of those things where if you do it once, you're going to learn something new. And then once you do it 2 or 3 times, and it just becomes something that's a habit, right? So the first time you do it, it might look a little crazy. And you might be like, what am I looking at? There's so many stats. But relax and know that if you have the right mindset and you're just here to learn and you're open to it, it can do a lot of positive work for your organization. So with that said, first question in the chat, have you created a Facebook or Instagram ad for your organization before? For yes, write a Y in the chat, or N for no. See, Andrea and Terry have. Mary has not. Oh, mixed bag. I'd say it's like 50-50. Okay, great. So this is, yeah, definitely 50-50 group. So I'm hoping that you walk away today with some insights to be able to increase the engagement and success you are seeing from your social ads. Okay, so today what we're going to talk about is Facebook Pixels, audience creation using Facebook Business Manager, and step-by-step going through setting up an ad using Business Manager. So this is different than boosting a post. Today, what we're going to go through, boosting a post is oftentimes what you'll see when you post something on your feed, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, and there's a little button that says promote. That's boosting. And it gives you select items to choose from, but it doesn't let you get super granular and detailed in your ad. And that's what we're going to go through today, because it makes a big difference. The first thing that I like to ask, and that I do personally when I'm setting up my ad, is I answer these questions. what's my objective for the ad? And if you look over to the right-hand side, this is exactly the screen we're going to see in just a few minutes. This lists out all your possible objectives. Under, you have 3 options of tiers, kind of. Is it awareness? Are you looking for consideration, or are you looking for conversion? So if you're looking to raise overall brand awareness, which is your top funnel, that might be brand awareness or reach, versus consideration, maybe you're wanting to get more people to your website, that would be traffic. Maybe you just want more engagement on a specific post, that could be under consideration. Conversion, this is where a lot of us will probably live in wanting donations. So under conversions, that's what you would click to receive donations. And I'm going to show you how to track that shortly. So first is your objective. What is your goal of this campaign, of this ad? Second, what's your budget? You can launch an ad from $10 all the way through millions of dollars. So I think the lowest is actually $1 a day. So it's really low. Obviously, you just won't have much reach with that. You want to know the length of your campaign. I recommend the minimum time frame that you want an ad to run is 4 days, because that gives Facebook's algorithm time to work. So 4 days is the minimum. You want to know your media. Are you using a photo? Are you posting a video? Are you doing a carousel post? What's the copy of your content? And understanding that only, Hunter and I were just talking about this, only a few lines of your copy actually show up. So it's really important to look at your preview image and understand what's showing in your ad on desktop versus mobile. And then what's your call to action? What do you want someone to do because they saw this ad? So if you walk through and answer all of those questions, then you should be set to be able to start to create your ad. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and dive in. So as I mentioned, the first thing that's really important is your Facebook pixel. And what I mean by pixel is if I go to, this is my website. Up here at the top, I have this little Facebook pixel helper. If I click on that, it shows me I do have a pixel on here. And right now it knows whenever somebody visits a page. And I also have some micro data set up, which means it understands some buttons on this page. When they get clicked, it means a reaction. So having a Facebook pixel installed on your website allows you to run an ad and know exactly where it triggered. So if you ran an ad for $50 and you have a pixel on your site, you will know exactly, because of that ad, you generated 500 donations. You don't have to guess anymore. It gives you that immediate understanding of what happened because you have the pixel installed. So it's tracking all that data on your page. I would love to, if anybody has a website that they want me to check, I can look right now and see if you have a Facebook pixel on your website. So I'm going to show you also, I'm going to put this in the chat because I'm going to show you how to set one up. All right, I have a website. Let's see. So KeyCrowd right here does not have, no Facebook pixel is found. So this would be a website that you'd want to have one set up. And I'm going to show you how to do it in a second. I see Cat Depot. Yeah, Amanda, we can take a look. You do. So you can see here, Cat Depot has a couple. They also have the page view and they also have some microdata set up. Let's see, Jennifer Shelby should have one. Let's see, and then I'm gonna dive into how you create it really quickly. This is something that you're gonna wanna share with whoever manages your website as a developer. So it looks like Selby Botanical Gardens does not. You do not have a pixel set up on your website. So this is really important, especially for you guys because you sell tickets. This is something, and you have weddings, I know, you have events going on. This is something definitely that you should have set up. Yeah, you're very welcome. So to set this up, I'm gonna go ahead and cancel out of this browser. So if you do not have a Facebook Business Manager, I just put the link into the chat and it will allow you to set up an account. If you do, you'll have something like this. And in your case, you'll probably only have one business If you're just managing one organization, you can see here, I've managed a lot of ad accounts in my time. So once I click into my ad account, I have this little home page, right? So this is what it's going to look like. So I'm going to go to Ads Manager. And this showcases, I'm going to go to Positive Equation. So my business. And I have these 9 little dots over here that says Business Tools. If I click on this and I go to Events Manager is what you want to click on to create your pixel. Now, in my case, it's going to show that I already have pixels here set up and they're firing. So it literally shows me how many people, this is on the last 28 days, shows me the last 28 days, how many people have viewed a page, how many people have initiated a checkout because I have a shop on my page, how many people have purchased something. I have an area where people can select a consulting time with me. So I literally have, I can tell if somebody's selected a day, if they selected a time, and if they scheduled a meeting with me. So this is how granular you can get. In your case, I'm not going to have the option here, but if you click create, you'll be able to create a pixel. And it'll walk you through step by step exactly how to create a pixel. And it has a copy and paste where you just need to send, it's 1 line of code that you put on 1 page, and then you'll be able to set up custom events. So this is something you work with your developer on or whoever manages your website. When you do that, so for instance, if I go back to my website, because I have my pixel set up, so once you have that 1 line of code, which all it's doing is tracking page views at that point, has somebody visited my site? If I click on this, Facebook's lovely tool, I can click Set Up Events. Yes, Kate, that 1 line can go into WordPress. It can go into any content management system you use to power your website. Squarespace, Wix, I use Showit. Any type of content management system works with Facebook Pixel. So for customized events, I'm going to go to, and actually let me go to an example I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to go to my shop. And I'm going to go to my virtual event template. And I'm going to do setup events. So it's going to open up, again, my back end. And I'm going to click Open Event Setup Tool. And it's going to ask me, which website do I want to look at? I want to look at this page. So I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste the URL, open the website. And now in this Facebook Event Setup Tool pops up. So once you have that 1 line of code on your website, you have the ability to do this. Now, any button that is on my site will pop up as an option to add an event to. Now, in this case, I've already selected this Buy Now button, and you can tell I've already put that it initiates checkout is what that button means. At the top, book one-on-one consulting call. I've already selected this button as a lead for somebody who wants to book. If I was to do track new button, I could select any of these buttons at the top. So if I wanted to do contact, I could select an event of what that means to my organization. So if there's even a donate on here. So in your case, if you happen to be on a donate button, you can put donate here. And then what's interesting is, let me see if I can show it for mine, it's already set up. If I go to the initiate checkout, I can click choose value on the page and hit confirm. So it knows it's $5.99. So if your case, if you have donate on the page, you can click the value so you know exactly what the ad was running, right? What the ad created for you. So I'm going to do confirm. So now anytime somebody clicks that buy button, it's associated with a $5.99 cost. Okay, so setting up, and I click finish setup, finish. Great, thank you. The event tool was successful. And now I have that new event set up on my page. So again, Facebook Pixels, I'm just touching on it today. But if you have a developer, if you have somebody on your team, it's super, super, super beneficial to make sure this is installed so that basically when you run your ads, you know exactly what the ROI was. That's the magic of setting up a pixel. The second thing I wanted to show you was audiences. And this is where you can have some fun. So again, you click on the business tools, the 9 dots. You click on audiences. And let it load. Oh, and again, really quickly, this is where, if you have Chrome, this is where you can install the Facebook Pixel Helper. I'll put this in the chat as well. So if you click here, you'll be able to download that extension that I have so that you can see if you have your pixels set up properly. So I forgot to mention that. All right, going back. Okay, so I'm gonna switch again. I'm gonna go to my ad account. Again, in your case, you probably will only have one ad account to worry about. So you can see here, I have a ton of audiences already saved. And all you need to do is click create audience, and you have a couple choices here. The two that I'm going to focus on are custom and saved audiences today. So if I click on custom audience here, based upon my pixel, if I have a pixel set up, I can create an audience based on my website visitors. So I could pull an audience that's viewed my website 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 365 days by clicking right here. So, all right, I'm going to select my pixel. I could do all website visitors. I could go people who visited specific pages, who did certain events, who added something to a cart. So you can get really granular. So you could retarget anyone who's donated before, visitors by time spent on your page, and you can extend the days. And then you would just click create audience. So in my case, you can see here, website traffic 120 days. So here I was able to create this already. Another example under custom audience is you can use your social channels. So I could click on Instagram or Facebook, and I can create an audience based upon anyone who has interacted, who has visited, who has engaged with either of these social channels. And then what a beautiful thing is, so if I go in, let it load for a second, and I'm going to go down, I'm going to select my page. Again, you will only probably have your channel as an option. And I want anyone who has visited my profile in the past, I'll keep it relevant, 90 days. And then I could do positive equation, IG, 90 days. And I think I have one already set up like this. So let me see if it'll let me do it. Create audience. Okay, so my audience was created. Now what I can do to expand that audience, because I don't have a huge Instagram following, is create a lookalike audience. So Facebook will know, based upon looking at the attributes and interests of the people who have already visited my page, they're going to find people who look like that audience. And I always do the 1%. And I'm going to put in the United States. So this will create another 2.4 approximately million people. So that is obviously way more people than I typically have. So, and right now these are populating. So this takes about 20 to 30 minutes sometimes to populate, depending upon the size. So then you can come back to it. So custom audiences are really powerful for retargeting people who already interact with you and finding new audiences like them, right? The other way that's really great is you can do video. So you can create an audience of people who have watched videos on your page, and you can go even granular. So if I click into this, choose a content type, I can pick to make sure that they're more of a warm lead. I can select people who have watched 25% of my video, 50%, at least 15 seconds, because that means that they're more than just scrolling through. So if I do at least 15 seconds, and then you choose videos, and you literally can go to, so I'm going to do, let me see, I'm going to pick Dressember. They're a nonprofit. So they have 230 video views, 218. So I could click all of these recent videos, and anyone that watched more than 15 seconds of these videos will be retargeted with this ad campaign. So that's a new audience. So there's so many ways. If you're trying to bring an audience from awareness, if they just heard about you, down to become an advocate, this is how you do that. Because that you want to pop up and be top of mind for them more than once. So this is a great opportunity. If they watched a video, that's kind of like your sizzle video, and then you retarget them with a carousel campaign or a direct call to action, donate, this is how you can set that up. So I'm going to X out of this. And then one of my favorite things to do is playing around with an audience, creating an audience from scratch. So to do this, I'll click that create audience button again, and I'll click save audience. And let's see, somebody want to give me, I saw most of your audiences are going to be local to Sarasota. Let me see, Cat Depot could be a good one. So Cat Depot, we're going to do an example for you here. So Cat Depot, if I'm Cat Depot and I'm looking to create an audience for the holiday, so instead of searching, I'm going to create my name. The next step I want to look at is locations. So actually, Sarasota might be interesting because a lot of your donors might also live elsewhere than just Sarasota, especially if they're snowbirds. But for this example, I'm just going to say Sarasota. You can expand this if you happen to know they're in Toronto, right? Or you can pick all those different cities. So I'm going to put Sarasota, Florida, and I'm going to expand it to be a 50-mile radius. Again, you could add multiple cities if you know a bit about your demographic. And then I'm going to go down. I'm going to select my age. So I'm going to, again, I'm totally guessing this, but I'm going to say 21 to 65 plus is my donor demographic of who I want to reach with this. All genders, skip language, and then here in detailed targeting is where you can have some fun and see what really cultivates and comes together based upon what you enter. So the first thing for me would be, obviously, if somebody has an interest in cats, if they have, do suggestions, if they have must love cats, if they have an interest in pets, in kittens, there's cat food. Do you see how specific this can get? But maybe, okay, so now I have my interests around pets and cats. That's great. I have 1.6 million people in a Sarasota 50-mile radius that love cats. That's a lot of people. I might say that's pretty broad. I want to make that a little bit more granular. So I'm going to click narrow audience. So to narrow audience, they must like cats and kittens and pets, but they must also match. Let's say I'm doing a campaign around, I don't know, families. So I'm going to do browse, and I can search by demographics, and I can literally select people who are parents. And I can even go more granular into how old their kids are. So I could do all parents, or I could look for parents who have kids who are in preschool. Maybe I'm trying to get, maybe it's a campaign. I'm just making up this creative in my head. First time adoption, right? A pet for your child. It's teaching them skills about taking care of an animal. So we're going to go with 3 to 5 years old, 6 to 8, 9 to 12. Yeah, let's do that. And let's see what changed. 43,000 people significantly went down from the 1.2, I think it was, million to 43,000. So in your case, you might say, that's great. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Just to give you other examples that are in here, you can search by life events. If someone's birthday is coming up, that's a great time to be able to say, hey, create a Facebook fundraiser for your birthday. You can search for people if they're newlyweds, their relationship status. Facebook, you can go behaviors, their purchases behavior, if they're engaged shoppers, if they travel. I'm just showing you all of these examples because there is so much data here for you to really create a very customized audience to reach. So for instance, I'm just going to, at this point, I'm going to save this audience. So now I have an audience of 43,000 people that I can target. And again, you can create as many of these as you want to do testing on. So now I have my Facebook pixel set up. I created my audience, and now I'm going to go into actually creating my ad. So again, I'm going to click that 9 little buttons here on the side, and I'm going to select Ads Manager. Okay. So now this is where your ads will run and will showcase you all of the metrics. Barbara, I see your question. No such thing as a silly question, by the way. I don't have the toolbar you do that follows the web page name you are on. How do I get that? The toolbar that follows the web page name. I'm not sure if you're talking about the business.facebook.com. If you're talking about this interface, I'll put it in the chat again.
I'm talking about to the right of that, where you found whether or not you had the pixel. See all those little icons to the right of where you
are you talking about?
Yeah, all of that. What is that?
Oh, this is my Chrome extension.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
So, yeah, so if you go to, let me just go Facebook Pixel. Yeah, so at any time you can go to the Chrome Web Store, and there's like millions of extensions. So I happen to have, like, this is for emojis. I have a bunch of shortcuts because I use emojis all the time doing social content. This is for Sprout Social. This is my publishing tool. Grammarly spell checks me. So you can choose to have whatever you want up here or nothing. But this is, I'll share this again in the chat. That's what I have. That's why it's up there. So if you're using a Chrome browser, which I do, that's why that's up there. I've added all these things over years. Great question.
Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Let me go back. Where was my ads manager? Here we are. Okay. So on this screen, how this breaks down, because I know it might look a little daunting, is you have your campaigns that are running. You have your ad sets, which is the audiences we created. And then you have your ads, which is where the visuals are created. But you really don't need to look into any of those until you're creating your campaign. And then you have all these nifty columns that give you your ROI that you can choose to customize based upon what your goals are. Okay, so for right now, we're not gonna worry about these. We're gonna worry about our ads, and then I'll talk about the conversions in a second. So I'm gonna create an ad today with you that I actually want to get live. So this is perfect. I'm gonna run an actual live ad with you. So I'm gonna click create. And this is the screen I showed you before where I have to select what my objective is. So my objective is, I obviously work with nonprofits in their digital strategies. So earlier this year, I created, and I think I actually showed this in the last session that you all got for free, but it's normally not free, is the virtual run of show template. What I just showed you on the page, that's $5.99. So that is something that's in my shop that people can purchase, nonprofits can purchase to utilize to plan their virtual event programs. So my goal is I want a sale. So in my case, it's a conversion. So I'm gonna click this. Down below, I'm going to name my campaign. I'm gonna do virtual event run of show shop. And I'm gonna leave everything else blank for right now. And I'm gonna click continue. So now it's leading me. So what Facebook does well is it guides you through the process. You just have to know what to focus on and what to ignore. So for instance, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna skip all the way down here to the bottom. I am not going to A/B test in this case, but you can. And what A/B test means is that you can have the same, you focus on one thing, right? Kind of like a science project. Either you can test your copy, you can test a graphic, or you could test different audiences all around the same ad, but you pick one variable. In this case, I'm not going to do that for the sake of time, but that's a great way of testing 2 different copy, 2 different graphics, 2 different audiences to see which performs the best, and then put up more budget on the one that's working the best. For right now, I'm also skip campaign budget optimization because I'm not running multiple ad sets. So I'm gonna click next. And right now it wants to know, where is my conversion? Where does that, either in your case, donation happen or purchasing a ticket, or where is somebody going to purchase this run of show? So the first thing it's gonna ask if you're doing a conversion is for that pixel. So I'm gonna select my pixel, and then it's gonna ask me for my conversion event that I had previously set up. So in this case, Maybe I'll do add to cart, or I could do, and I'm going to look over here on the right-hand side, and it's starting to showcase to me, if I do purchase, it's creating my estimated results. So I'm going to do purchase. I'm going to skip down, down, down to my budget. So I always change it to my lifetime budget. So over the course of however long I want my campaign to run, I'm going to do my ad for $25. And right now it's telling me this is not going to work. That's because right now it shows my start time is today and my end time being a month later. $25 over a month is not going to work because it's not a high enough budget. But if I do select, let's say I'm going to run this through for a week. So I'm going to select November 30th. So now it went away. And I'm going to go ahead and cancel this one out. So let's see if I do saying conversion 0, because this one has been run a lot. Let me switch this to, let's do, it doesn't have a lot of data on recent purchases. If I do initiate checkout, here we go. Okay. So if I do initiate checkout, it's saying my estimated daily results will be maybe 10 or lower on my purchases. And I'm going to reach 214 to 618 people per day over the course of a week. So you can do that times 7 based upon me running this for a week-long period. And then you're going to see here, it's going to ask me what audience I want to do. Now, I've already created these audiences, so I don't have to build anything in here. I can select from a saved audience. Here's my Cat Depot, right? So it's everything I've already created in here I could put in. So, or the other place you would click is here, and this is where all of my pixel data is under my custom audiences. Remember, so it was that custom and it was saved. So those are the 2 areas you can select from. So for instance, I might go ahead and say, I want to target people who have already interacted with me. So I'm going to select anybody who's visited my website in the last 180 days. I also want to do people who have been to my Instagram in the last 90 days, and I can continue to add these. I want to do a lookalike over the last 90 days. And that's going to continue to also change my conversions. I'm going to do a lookalike for my Facebook page. I'm just continuing to add a bunch of things in here. So let's say that's in a good place. And this continues to change, right? So then I'm going to go down. I've selected my audience. My placements. This is where if you wanted to click on manual, you can select which platforms your ad will be showcased. I like to leave it to automatic because then Facebook's algorithm is doing the work to be able to push the ad to the best place of where my audience is. I'm going to go ahead and click next. And now I'm going to create what the ad looks like. So in this case, I'm going to select my Instagram page. So now it can perform on Facebook or Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and go down. And if I wanted to, under ad setup, you can create a new ad. So uploading your video or your photo, or you can also use an existing post. So if I wanted to, if I click existing post, I go into select post. Anything I've previously posted, I could select from to use on Facebook or Instagram. In this case, I want to create a new ad. So I'm going to select a single image or video. Scroll down, I'm going to add my media. I'm going to add a video. Now I already have this video uploaded, but you would just go through uploading as you normally would to upload a file. I'm going to click on this video and hit next. It shows me what it looks like vertical for stories, horizontal, and square. I'm going to say great, done. And over here on the right-hand side, it is starting to populate what my ad will look like. It's giving you this preview. So the next thing that I need to do is enter my text and my call to action. So as we mentioned earlier, it's really important to understand what your copy looks like when you're previewing it. So over here, I've created 2 different types of copy for this ad. So I'm going to go with, let's see. I'm going to go with this one because it starts off with a question. So the first thing you'll see is, has your fundraising event been postponed, rescheduled, or canceled? That's an immediate draw for somebody to say, yes, actually it has. So I'm going to copy and paste over this entire copy. And let me go back to my ad. Here we go, primary text. I'm going to paste it in here. And then I'm going to, and you can hear my dog. I'm going to copy that URL here at the bottom. And I'm going to place it right here with this destination. So what it's done is it automatically, as you can see, it's updated my copy. It's updated this headline because it's pulling in from the website. And it automatically populated this call to action for a learn more button. But learn more isn't really what I want. That's not my call to action, what I want people to do. So I'm going to switch this button. As you can see, there are lots of options. There is a donate now button. I want mine to be shop now. So I could do shop now, or download now would work for this one as well. But if I do shop now, that button now over here already changed. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good about my ad. If I wanted to do a headline, this headline would change where this virtual event copy is down the bottom, but I'm okay with where it is right now. If you're saying, wow, that's really small, it's really hard for me to see, you can click the three little buttons and you can click expand. And now this is exactly what my ad will look like on a mobile device. So if I click play, this is exactly what somebody will see. If I click see more, it shows me the entire ad. Also, I can change this. What does this look like on desktop? Give it a second, more copy shows up, right? But the visual, I still have a square video and I have my button. Now, if you're like, okay, this is great, but I really want to see what it looks like on Facebook, okay? So you can also click over here, this little arrow, and you can send yourself a notification to Facebook. So if I click here, and let's see if it'll do it for me. Sometimes it's finicky. It'll show up a lot of times on mobile. Let's see if it gives me the notification. Sometimes it's finicky on desktop. Yeah, I don't know if it'll do it right now. So let me see if it popped up on my phone. I'm checking. Yep. Okay, so you'll receive, I know this might be hard to see, but it says here, your ad has a preview. And I'll click on it, and then I can see exactly, and it's hard to see me because I'm sharing my screen, it shows me exactly what my ad looks like on Facebook. So if you wanted to see it on your phone and be able to interact with it and engage with it, that's a great way to do it. You can also click through to any of these. You can see what it looks like on your Instagram feed, what it looks like on stories, either Facebook stories, Instagram stories. So this is a great way too. For anyone, which I don't, that does not have a Instagram verified blue check mark, and you really want people, you really want to have that swipe up functionality, you can select to just run an Instagram story campaign, right? You could you could select, going back to the placements, just to select Instagram stories, and then have content that has that vertical placement, that vertical imagery, and then you automatically have that swipe up functionality. So at this time, I'm feeling good about my ad. And then all I need to do is click publish it. So I'm gonna click publish. And over here in the corner, it's telling me publishing 1 of 3. So let this load. And at the top here, you can say it's at 75%. And what's gonna happen is, so now my ad is published. So I'm gonna X out of here, and I'm gonna go back to campaigns. And you can see right here, it's in review. Sometimes it's very quick and your ad will go up the same day. Sometimes it takes 24 hours for an ad to go up, especially because of COVID, it's been very finicky. So give it some time to be able to get an ad up. Question that came in, would you normally include that much copy? You know what? It depends on the content you're doing, and oftentimes you can test. I like to tell a story in my copy because I think it keeps people on the content. But honestly, I've done really short ones too. So for Her Desk, my other, and actually I can show you because I have some that are running live right now. If I go to more ad accounts, and I have an Instagram story one that's running live. I did very brief content. I think it is this one. Let me see. If I go to ads. Yes, it was this one. And I go to edit. So this one was very brief. So this one, I just said, breathe in joy, breathe in success, breathe in love, hand poured, right? Because I'm selling candles for my desk company right now, but this one's very brief. So you can test a bunch of different copy options and kind of see which one ends up resonating the best with your audience. The other one that I have up that I just mentioned about stories is this one. So I use Canva to create my ad creative. So again, something that we talked about before, and I think it was our first lesson. If I open up this ad, so I created this right here, this video. So it's meant for stories, and it has the shop now button at the bottom. So this graphic was designed specifically. This ad is only running on stories. And again, for you to see it better, I'll open it up. I created this using a template in Canva. So with that, I know we just went through a ton of information. We have about 10 minutes left. Any questions? Oh, and one thing as questions are coming in that I forgot to mention is if I go back, I'm going to go back to I'm going to go back to positive equation. So I can see, this is what I was talking about with the pixels. I can see, because I have the pixels up, I received, for instance, this ad was pushing my December consulting sessions, which I think Hunter said he saw. I received a purchase from this. I can see what my reach was. It ran for a short amount of time. My cost per acquisition was $15.19, and that's fine because I know the cost of my consulting session is more than that. So that was worth it to me to run that ad. If you're running a video campaign, you might have a very different metrics that you want to set up, and you can customize all of those columns here in order to report back to your board or report back to your ED, or just be able to look at what metrics are really important to you. You can look at all of this here. Okay, let me see these questions, and then I will be able to also showcase any slides or anything else I can walk through in more detail for anyone. Barbara has a question. I've always been concerned about running the same content on both a Facebook post and an Instagram post. It seems like some might find it too duplicative. What are your thoughts on this? So what's interesting is if it's just an ad, it's not a post on your page. It's running only to that targeted group of people. If you're selecting an existing post to run an ad on, that's a different story. So for example, if I go into, let me see, this virtual event blog, well, this one was only Facebook. Let me see if this one was relevant. Let me go back to the last 30 days. And I'm going to open up my charts. So based upon what I was telling you about, here we go. Okay. Facebook's going to put your ad where you're going to see the most response. So here, I showed significantly more engagement and more success on Facebook. So that's where Facebook showed my ad more. So it doesn't seem duplicative because it's only being shown in the place more often where you're seeing success. And this was not a post on my page. It was just an ad. So it was only being shown to people in my targeted audience, if that makes sense. Trish, yes, this will be available as a recording. Absolutely. Sherilyn, is it better to try for more Facebook likes or followers? So most of the time, so if I go to my Facebook page, Facebook has such a low view on content nowadays. I think it's more important for you to target people to engage with your content than necessarily being a like or follower, because your page content is unfortunately not going to come up that much anyways. That's just the fact. So it's more important when you're running an ad to target for engagement or for brand awareness or for video views or conversions. Then I don't worry about my follower count at all, honestly, at all. That's such a misnomer. I honestly follow much more about who's engaging with my content. I do live videos all the time because they are free for me and they send a push notification out. I also have a Facebook group, and that group has 1,000 people in it versus my Facebook page has 330 followers. But these people aren't even probably that engaged. So honestly, Facebook likes and followers, I do not think are important metrics moving into 2021 and even in 2020. Sure, you're welcome. The most important thing, again, is engagement on your content and thinking about the metrics that matter. The metrics that matter are you want to use social media to create traffic and website acquisition. Your website is your foundation, right, to your organization. That's where most of your content lies. That's where your videos are. That's where your donate button is. That's where you can really benefit. So raising awareness of your cause through videos, doing ads on your videos, that's where you're going to see the greater success. Barbara, that's good to know because I've been worried. There are 77,000 or so people in Northport on my page has 335 likes. Yeah. Don't gauge your success on social based upon your follower count, or else you will just be causing yourself frustration. Don't do that. You can, and here's the best part about that. Let me see if I can do a great example of this. So you just saw I have about 330 followers, right? But I do these videos all the time teaching. And I'm going to just show you an example. Let me see, where is it? Okay, this video with Caitlin from Movember. It's going to play. So hold on 1 second. Okay. I have 4,000 video views on this piece of content. That's because I put an ad on this video and I targeted people who have an interest in Movember or men's health or digital fundraising. So although I only have 300 followers, I never would have received that much traction. But I did a very targeted ad and I got more eyeballs, which then led to more people going to my website and all the other things. And now I can retarget those 4,000 people with my custom audience, remember? So there's a lot of magic into being really strategic about what your goal is. So I knew my goal was I want to get eyeballs on this great piece of content. I don't care if they follow my page. So it's, and then let me see, did I have a link on this page? I had a link to Movember for this one. So I didn't have a direct business call to action, but it's also great if you have your call to action URL in any post. Good question. And I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen. This has been so amazing to work with Sarasota organizations. As someone who's from Sarasota, I will be back home for the holidays for about 2 weeks in December visiting my parents. And I'm so grateful for the Community Foundation for letting me share some knowledge with everyone. And I hope it's been really beneficial these past 3 weeks. And I want to be here. If you have questions, if you're trying to troubleshoot something, let me know. I'm happy to help answer those questions. I've already received emails from a few of you on specific questions that we've been able to solve. So with that, any questions, feel free to come off of mute or raise your hand and we can answer those. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Sharon. Or Hunter, Madeline, anything from you guys?
Thank you so much for hosting these sessions for us. They've been awesome, really hands-on, lots of great learnings, and so glad that we have